Okay, so we're spiritual beings in a physical body. Our thought combined with feeling, which is like a vibration or a frequency, creates the reality or contributes to creating the reality. Only real life can do this. The rest are all controlling, artificial life. Like that. Like most of what's around me. And how do I know it? Because they will show themselves by what they do, by their actions. That's how you'll know them. But you'll still be deceived because they will play the emotions and the feelings and the mind game against you at personal levels. Once you get involved, I'm going to film these bird of paradise flowers just before dark. It is nearly dark. Where was that? What was that? As you can see, the Matrix Patrol Force is all around me here in its usual massive numbers. Should there be this much traffic at this time? Most will tell you yes. None of these cars are going to a legitimate destination. Only a few of them actually have legitimate destinations. Most of them are a patrol force. They're told when to come out, what to do, buy their cars, like each individual car is like a computer. They're a technologically controlled vehicle. These are actually, okay, I'm going to film these bird of paradise because a few of them have come back to life. And I'm only filming them because I want to show something. What's if the Matrix behind me doesn't try to sidetrack me from even filming a few flowers? As you can see, the street lights are starting to come on. It is nearly dark. That's why I'm filming these just before dark, because the colour might come out slightly better. And I wasn't going to, but I just happened to be up here at this time. So I'm going to take the opportunity because I brought the mobile with me. I was nearly leaving it at home. Now, see, they look like a bird, an unusual bird. That's why they're called bird of paradise. But these ones now are looking a bit different. See how that one looks a bit different? See how it's got like the two bits coming off the top? That's unusual because normally they don't. Now they're starting to change. Why is that? That's interesting. Can you see that? How they got the two coming off? Because I noticed it the other day how the orange was coming like two horns off the top almost. Because before, when I filmed them, and all the time that I've been observing them since they were pointed out to me by someone else, see how that's like kind of like an unusual bird in profile. That's why they're called bird of paradise. Now, that's a double one. Since I noticed that one with the one hanging off it, which I'm going to have a look and see what's happened to it. Try not to get sidetracked, please. Ignore the traffic. Ignore the Matrix patrolling traffic, if you can. So that's a double one. See how it's like got one that's branched off from it. In other words, it's like two in one. Some people are meant to be two in one because they need, like myself, the support. They can't do it on their own. Whereas others, I mean, of course, they're still individuals, but because they have certain strengths and weaknesses, combined, they become very strong. That's how I see it. And that's why the Matrix separates, plays the game of separation, tricks us. That's on front here. Let me see if I can find some more. It's nearly dark now. Can't get them. A lot of them are dead. See, all these have died, more or less. dark nearly now. Matrix Patrol Force. Car always just happens to pull out in front of you or whatever. But this is all the time, it's the same with the people on the street. It never looks as though there's a crowd. But there's always a person in front of you or in your line of sight, always around you, even up here, because there actually shouldn't be very many people up here, and yet, because they've got this traffic brigade, this matrix army, and it isn't army because it isn't natural. It is a patrol control force. See, the cars all coming up with their bright lights. That looks normal too. Most of those cars have now got their lights on high beam, which is not normal in the past in a city. Not when you've got vast street lights, huge street lights along a road and everywhere else. They never used to have that. See how they've now got all the lights all over the trucks and things too, which they never had? Yes, you'd have front and back lights. That's all to draw attention for me, to draw attention to what's around me, so that I'm aware that I'm being patrolled and controlled by this patrol control force. Wait on. I'll just see if I can get some more. I might be able to get some round the back because I don't think I can get them. It's very intimidating when you know that all these cars are alongside of you and that they're basically not going about their business. But it's been going on now for 5 years and 4 months, so I might go around the back. This fella just happens to come up, fella just happens to come out. That's where my eyes went, see? Straight in front my eyes went straight there and then straight up there. See how there's three? There only looks like three little simple individual people. They're not three individual simple people. They're three combined android beings that are in conjunction with one another. They're all thinking. They're like one mind in a million different bodies. Because they're all thinking the same thing. How can we patrol and control a real human being? We're part of that system. It's a programmed system around me. And you, if you happen to be a natural spiritual human being, as opposed to an artificial pretending to be a spiritual natural human being. Do you get what I'm saying? Theoretically speaking, I could be a pretend human being. That's how well the game is now played. That's how well it's now played. And even someone like myself that is well aware of it and knows all the personality traits, thinks that I've got one-upmanship on them, at least at a personal level, that I understand the psychopathic mindset, that I can pick the cues. No, I can still be played and am still played. Because I play myself, in a way. Because more so in desperate times, you'll be looking, you'll be hoping and needing support. Whereas in the past, if you thought this was just a normal world, and you're a little bit antisocial and a bit of a loner like myself anyway, you're not always looking for that. In fact, if you've had a little bit of bad luck, you might say, well, I can go it alone almost and still be reasonably content because you can associate with people without getting very intimately involved with them, in other words, because once you become too friendly, then you'll be affected a lot more by them, by anyone for that matter, whether it be your own kind or the artificial ones. That's the name of the game. Don't forget that even the real ones will be played to such an extent that they could be convinced or tricked into playing against even their own kind. This is a possibility too, and a strong one, particularly if they want to create separation between humans that do have potential to combine in a compatible way, because not everyone is compatible, don't forget. I mean, it's the end time, but, plane there going straight in front, I think, isn't it? Yep. Right, so what I'm going to go on about here is there's the two. Oh, I've lost the light. I should have filmed it before. It's dark. See, it's dark now. Even though it looks as though there's still a bit of light, it's actually dark now. There's the two. There's that one holding on to the other one. See how that one's got it in its beak? Twisted around its beak after 3 months of extreme rain, and it's even been raining again today, and extreme winds and every condition you can imagine, still hanging on. But as you can see, they're both dead. I've died too, see how I'm dead? See, whereas that's alive because it's got the orange. It won't come out on the mobile. I'm hanging on to a dead one, and I'm dead too. That's because the dead one's negativity has spread to me, just like the artificial ones, or a bad relationship, shall we say, will bring your frequency and vibration down to where you feel dead. And there it is. That's me, dead, hanging on to another one that is, theoretically speaking, for all practical purposes, been made dead by the Matrix. Either that, or they are a part of the Matrix, and I was played and have allowed myself to be made dead by contact, unawares, because I am aware that I do play with dead ones, but I'm aware of it usually, because sometimes it's impossible not to. See that big sea of red? See that sea of red in the distance there? That's all cars with their big car lights, the red car lights, all lined up. That's because they have extra lights now, see, on the back of the cars. Now, some people would dispute that. But how come I never noticed the sea of red before the Matrix come down? How come it was only like smaller lights on the cars? See, some people would say, well, they've changed the models of the cars. Well, of course they have. They always have to offer a plausible reason why they do things. Otherwise, people would notice, or real people would notice, and it may or may not bother them. Like, a lot of people wouldn't care whether the car lights are bigger and there's more red or not. It's only when you become aware of that, plane overhead there, aware of that, the red is the Matrix colour, of the Matrix technical God's colour, a preference, because they like to represent their God in this reality. It's part of their religion and their beliefs. You could say that basically you have one religion now. You could say you have basically one religion now. It's a spiritual false. It's just spiritually, it pretends to be a spiritual religion, but it is a technical religion because its founders and its disciples are all technical beings. They're all one. All these cars are one in the same. They're all combined against real, natural, spiritual human beings because they are a dying species, they need to extract real life from human beings in order to keep going, and that's why they're surrounding me. I don't even know what I'm doing here. And many jump on board because don't forget, you could be part of a spiritual, religious group. In other words, when I say a group, this is like you're not talking about a small group of people. You're talking about what's all around me. So you figure out the numbers. Notice how they've stopped the cars a bit when I said that, because they don't want to prove their vast numbers, but it doesn't matter because you can still see vast numbers. Look, all these cars, most of them. There could be one amongst them that is a real spiritual, natural human being. In a body, in a human body, because it's really about it's about it's about the reality that they control the reality by controlling the real life. Because only the real life actually is able to affect the reality or keep the reality in existence. But they want to control the reality, and they do. All these cars are controlling me by controlling the reality. By controlling me, they're controlling the reality. And by controlling real life, they control the reality but also give themselves an extension of life. Because technical beings, are headed towards death. In fact, they are dead beings unless they can extract life from real life, which is common sense, really. Even though I don't understand it, I talk it, but I don't fully understand it. No, I just have to figure out why all this was going on in my particular part of the world, shall we say. I had to figure it out, over the last number of years. Last of the light, it's dark. As you can see, it's dark up that way. Just a slight semblance of light down there still. The sun is set. And I've lost my whole train of thought. And I almost know how futile it is trying to prove the matrix. See how that car's pulling up right in my line of sight on the other side of the road? Can you see it? And see how it's got lights on its wheels to draw me in, to draw attention. See how it just pulled up in front of me for no reason and now zoomed off. That was just to get my attention, into that route. Because I'm feeling that I'm almost used to, shall we say, like just temporarily there, I'm like, oh, they're all the same and they're all around. So that's when they then have to bring on something just a bit more to draw you back into it. But see how he just pulled up on a main road for no reason and then just drove off. And he's still there making a noise with the car somewhere in amongst all that lot. And is it coming out? It's coming out to my ears, but it probably won't come out the mobile. See, all these things are very disturbing sounds for my ears. but to pick them up on the mobile and to realise this is a continual thing, to where I used to find it quite comfortable to come up here, even on this main road. I used to find it quite comfortable. It didn't bother me, the traffic, because they weren't making aggressive noises. The traffic wasn't exposing that it was a patrol force at that time. You know? Yeah. Yes, I know they look normal. I know I look odd saying that all these people, even though just there are a few individuals that come past, they know what they're doing. That fella walking on the other side was combined with that fella that just went past me. That's a fact. All of them. They have a technical mind connection. They know what's going on. They may receive my thoughts and my actions different to what I intend them, or to how I'm intending them. And let's face it, we do that with one another too. Like if I was talking to a real person, a lot of the time there is a problem with communication because you only have language and to express yourself. And if you're not given enough time to fully explain yourself, or you feel pressured, or you're nervous, or whatever, you will misinterpret one another, you know. I do hope they're not trying to put a sore throat onto me, or that something like that, because everything they do, because as human beings, what you put out is what comes into your mind and into your senses. See how that little car is making an aggressive, negative noise. It's very low frequency for me. That, on a continual basis, creates low frequency, low vibration in the human being, and that's how they play the game. You might say, well, don't come up onto the main road, go to a quieter street. Yes, but then you will have something else that they will put there for you, whether it be workmen on the street or more people patrolling around. It will be different setups for each situation, but it will always be there. So it will look as though I don't know what I'm talking about, or look stupid. And I only come up here to film the 2 dead things, which is still here. See, it's dark now, as you can see, so I can't. Half of these are dead, and others aren't. But because we have so much rain, you know, they keep coming back. I think they just die and then they come out again. I think these things might be a little bit more like, not like some of the other flowers, because they're not really they're a flower, but they're not a flower. So I think they might, you know, I wonder if I can go around the back, see if I can get some better ones. See, normally you wouldn't do this sort of thing, but no, you wouldn't even go around here. But just trying to get some better ones with a bit of light. Some flame there. Hard to get them. So some of them are half dead, but they will die off and then they come back. Me and the one that I'm hanging on to has not come back to life yet, evidently. I'm starting to wonder if we will. That one is one that's about to. See how that just looks like a thin thing. That will become a full one like that with all the orange and stuff. But it has to open up. See how it's like that? It'll all open up because I've seen that. Maybe I'm doing a flower video now. I don't know why I'm coming around here. I'm trying to get one that I can show it. See, they're different, this one now. See that one there? See? See this one now on straight view? See how it looks as though it's got two horns? That's unusual. That's different now. Some of them going like that. Why is that happening? They didn't do that before, like over the last couple of months, because I've been watching them. Whenever I come up here, I take a look at them, you know, when I get the coffee. And let's see how it's got the orange horns almost, you know. They've only been doing that recently, I think. Most of them don't. But they're all starting to do that. That's something to... I don't know what that means. It's just that because I've been picking up on the details and because I'm almost looking at them very closely, of course I want to film them and I'm talking about them and I'm trying to pick up what you call the message from them. Yeah. Message. See if I can get that one. Very hard to film. See, these ones are all going to come out. See how they look just like a thin thing? There. They will all bloom into this, you know, very soon. So they die off and then they end up coming like that. I'm trying to pick some good ones because a lot of them are dying at the moment, but they will come back. But the question is, will me and that dead one there, which is not coming out, there's not enough light. So that's me there and there. It's hanging onto that dead one in its mouth. Totally dead I am, and so is the one in the mouth, not coming out. I should have filmed that before the light went down first up because the orange comes out, whereas the dead one, see all these are dead, they don't come out, all that's dead. I actually do have some more further up there, just at the front part of the service station there, see, but I don't think I'll go up. I think I'll fold up and go back home. Yeah, there's a bus over there. Just see, why is that bus pulled up in front of me there? That's a patrol bus. There's no bus stop there, and that is not a regular bus. See how it's just pulled up? There's nothing over there. Nothing's open. Most of those shops are all closed now, and some of them are even not. Admittedly, they will open things up and close them down according to where they want to put the patrol force. You know. That dance place over there is new. That's because sometimes when I come at a specific time, it will be lit up and there'll be people in there if they want to draw your attention that way. You'd say that's ridiculous, but no, it's not. It's just going to wait there until I move. There's no bus stop there at all, and that is not a regular bus, as you can see. It's a big white one. Plane going over, but I missed that. But I'm folding up now anyway, because if they want me to move along, that is a patrol part of the see, that's a regular bus coming up now. Of course, none of them are regular buses. They are all part of the matrix. But it actually says you on the side of that. I think it says you. Oh, nearly knocked me over. Oh dear. Actually, those two street lights are out. That's interesting. See, the street lights, they're getting me with the street lights. They know that sometimes I notice things, sometimes I miss things. Every street light is on, but there are two street lights out. Right in front there, see? You won't notice it because obviously there's so much light. That's right. That's why the cars don't need really high beam like they do. Plane coming over right in front of me there. As soon as my eyes darted over, look at that. Can you see it coming over? Is it coming out? Maybe not, but it's coming over in front. See the moving thing in the sky? That's a plane. Usually they're lit up a bit more than that, but they probably don't want me to show it. 2 street lights out. Not working. Or just out. Is that coincidence or is that deliberate to show me the 2 dead ones? Me and another dead one here in amongst the whatever. That's how I read it. I'm sorry if no one likes it. I don't like it either. So, bus still there, lurking, watching, and won't move till I move. So here's the regular bus coming past it, even though it's also part of the patrol. The ads on the side of the buses have relevance too. It's just a matter of whether I pick it up correctly or not. But it doesn't matter because it's all part of how they interpret your thinking. And then they put them onto an ad on the sides of the buses. You might say that's ridiculous. No, it's actually not, because the only reason I know that is because otherwise why would I take it personally? You know, the ads shouldn't mean anything personal to me. Admittedly, they want me to buy products and notice things, share, because it's a double feedback thing almost, you could say. But they're using human thought to then get you to focus on something that you relate to, and then they can sell more of it, use more influence that way, keep more control of the matrix, even if it's only at simple levels, even if it's only like a simple food level, more or less. Starting to blink its lights at me now, that bus. Blinking its lights, car pulling in right next to it, can you see it? They're starting to come on with it, it's moving backwards and the car's pulled in front moving. See, none of these cars should be, a bus shouldn't be pulled up on a main road. They wouldn't do that in the past, they do it now. Plane in front, going over. Finally pulling out in front of me. See how it's pulling out in front of me slowly? It was parked there for nothing. That was just a controlling bus. You know, because they're like, she cannot stand on that road making a video, filming the traffic without somehow drawing you in or making you feel trapped. It doesn't work, obviously, when I'm making a video because I'm focused on the video, so I'm like, oh, well, if you want to show yourself more, that's all well and good. But they still do it just the same, you know. Because they like to get you agitated even while you're making the video, so that way you don't come across as that plausible, you know. And they know that I have to shout because I might be distracted by the traffic or it might become noisy. Actually, there's not a lot of big trucks at the present time, which is unusual. Normally you get a lot of the big trucks. And I better say good night and go home. And good night to the bird of paradise flowers here. Should have come a little bit, started filming them just a little bit earlier because with the dark you can't really see them. But even the noise of the traffic, it's not just the visuals, the lights and the patrol system. It's the noise of it, even when it's relatively not noisy. And also you are sensitised to sound over time to where you notice it more. Human beings pick up everything. If you're not aware, you don't pick up as much. That's why they want to take control of you at this time, to make you more aware of what's happening, because then you go into low frequency naturally. You're low vibration, you feel uncomfortable. You don't feel good. And that's part of the game. Because they actually prefer to keep you in the dark. You know, because they don't want your awareness of the reality spreading either. So it's like what's that saying, a double-edged sword with them. They take They take their chances. But they assume that once you wake up to a little bit, you're going to wake up to more, and that's why they come down. See how they make that kind of zoomy noise? Sometimes it's really loud, sometimes less, but you're always aware of it, and it's aggressive. It's anti-life. It not only makes you aware of being patrolled. See how they beeped the horn when I said that? It's actually very disturbing, really. It really is. But you're sort of forced to live with it. But when you talk about it, it sounds as though you're on top of it and that it doesn't matter, that it's not that bad, that you've just, in fact, almost the opposite. Some of the matrix ones see it as you being, one. So our bike was about to make a noise, but because I focused on him, then he calmed down, but it's still, then he'll start it up as he goes further along. See what I just said? Did you see that? As soon as I said that, he did that as if to say, yeah. Did that come out on the mobile or not? I don't know. I'm going home now anyway.